They tried to bury his dream. But God was preparing a throne. He was betrayed by his own blood.
There are stories that teach us, and there are stories that change us. The story of Joseph, found in the book of Genesis, is not just a tale of dreams and destiny. It is a story of betrayal, injustice, patience, faith, and a God who works even when everything seems broken. This is the story of a boy sold as a slave who rose to become a ruler, a story that reminds us what people mean for evil, God can turn for good.
Here comes that dreamer!
The dreamer and the betrayal. Joseph was only 17 years old. He was the 11th son of Jacob, but the favorite. Born to Rachel, the wife Jacob loved most, Joseph held a special place in his father's heart, and Jacob made it obvious. He gave Joseph a beautifully decorated robe, a symbol of honor, and a spark that ignited burning jealousy in his brothers. Joseph's brothers already hated him. But then came the dreams. One night, Joseph dreamed they were binding sheaves of grain. Suddenly, his sheaf stood upright, and theirs bowed down before it. Another night, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. Joseph shared these dreams, not fully understanding their weight. But his brothers understood, and they hated him even more. Sold into slavery. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers in Dothan. From a distance they saw him coming. Here comes that dreamer. Their hatred turned dangerous. They planned to kill him. But Reuben, the eldest, intervened, suggesting they throw Joseph into an empty cistern instead.
We cannot kill
they
him.
stripped him of his robe and threw him into the pit.
With him.
Later, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by. Judah spoke up. Why shed blood? Let's sell him.
Ishmaelites for 20
shekels of silver. Joseph was sold like property. To cover their crime, they dipped his robe in goat's blood and brought it to their father. Jacob recognized it instantly. My son is gone. And Jacob wept, refusing to be comforted. Part 2. Slavery and Prison. Joseph arrived in Egypt as a slave. He was bought by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. But even in chains, God was with Joseph. Everything Joseph touched prospered. Potiphar noticed. Soon, Joseph was placed in charge of the entire household.
I am putting you in charge of my household
Brief,
and all that I
hopeful lift
own.
in music.
You honor me,
but
master.
Temptation came.
I will serve you faithfully.
Potiphar's wife desired Joseph. Day after day, she tried to seduce him. Joseph refused. How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? One day, she grabbed him, and Joseph fled, leaving his cloak behind. Enraged, she lied. Joseph was accused and thrown into prison. No trial, no defense. The gift of dreams.
I did not.
Even in prison, God had not abandoned him. Joseph gained favor with the warden and was put in charge of the other prisoners. There, he met two men, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. Both had troubling dreams. Joseph interpreted them. One would be restored, the other would die. Everything happened exactly as Joseph said. Before the cupbearer left, Joseph pleaded, "Remember me?"
Show kindness to me, I
But
beg
the cupbearer
you, and mention me to Pharaoh to get me
2
out of
years
this place.
passed. Part 3. From prisoner to prince. Then Pharaoh dreamed 7 healthy cows, devoured by 7 thin ones, 7 full heads of grain, swallowed by 7 scorched heads. No one could interpret the dreams. Suddenly the cupbearer remembered. There is a man. Joseph was summoned. He shaved, changed clothes, and stood before Pharaoh. "It is not in me," Joseph said. "God will give Pharaoh an answer." Joseph revealed the meaning. 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. Then he offered wisdom. "Store the grain now, so the people may live." Pharaoh recognized the Spirit of God, and in a single moment, Joseph's life changed forever. He was made ruler over all Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. Joseph was 30 years old. The slave had become a prince. Reconciliation and forgiveness. The famine came, severe, relentless. Even in Canaan, food ran out. Jacob sent his sons to Egypt. When they stood before the governor, they bowed. They did not recognize him. But Joseph did. The dream had come true. Joseph tested them to see if their hearts had changed. On the second journey, with Benjamin present, Joseph could bear it no longer. He sent everyone out, and he wept. "I am Joseph, your brother." Fear gripped them, but Joseph spoke words that echo through history. "Do not be afraid. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." Joseph forgave them, he embraced them, and he reunited with his father. The family settled in Egypt, safe, provided for, restored. In conclusion, Joseph's story teaches us this: delays are not denials, pain is not pointless, and God is always working even when we cannot see it. What begins in betrayal can end in blessing. This is the story of Joseph.